They wanted us to show the byproduct.
Auditor General, have you looked at Annexure 7? Because you can't have a policy document without the details of persons covered and the details of the limits.
Yes, Chair. What we have is the extract of the contract agreement for the provision of medical insurance cover by the broker. So what we don't have only is the listing of all the stuff. But when you read through the
Auditor General. Yes. 137 million has been spent by Samburu. Can you give us assurance that 137 million
be the full document, Honorable Governor? This is 7 pages. I've seen contracts for Mandazi that are longer than this.
I think, thank you, Chair, through the Chair. I think the question was the 23 by product. The 137 was to provide evidence that actually there was a contract between us and the insurer. So now the question, I think, was on the 23 million.
So for 137 million, yes. How many people are you covering?
3,400 staff.
Is it there in the contract or whatever you have attached?
I mean,
this is why we'll put you on oath, because you're providing very material information that is not in the records before us.
Yeah, allow us to provide the byproduct for 137. It's just that it was not the audit.
Was the auditor's
the
question.
Query was not 137, Chair. It was the 23 for SHA.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. When I look at this question,
there are two numbers queried, 137 and there's 23. We must get assurance that those numbers relate to actual service or an actual medical cover that went to the staff. Because the other question would be, you have Britam, you have Scoline. What is the role of Scoline in that? To earn a commission? Or what service is it that they offer that Britam cannot offer directly?
I think it was how it was tendered. They just won the brokerage and Britam are the underwriters.
And so what is the commission rate on this?
We don't pay the commission ourselves. We don't.
No, it is in the contract. It must be in the contract.
Maybe between Britam and Scoline.
Yes, that commission usually comes back to employees of the county.
Not that we are, it's not in our agreement.
So can we see the policy document? Because the policy document will capture the premium, will capture the commission paid, yes, and everything, including the number of employees that are covered for the 137.
Okay, if you allow us, because all we have is the contract, we just read the as per the question, but if you allow us, we can provide.
Chair.
Senator Maruma.
Chair, my question would be to the auditor, because if I look at the question you're asking, you're saying, however, the medical insurance contracts cover payments for the previous financial year, the details of the persons covered under the scheme, details of payments made to SHA in respect to medical cover not provided for review. Why are you requesting for the previous year's documents, not for this year under review? Were the ones for this year under review provided, and you're looking for the other ones? Is it for comparison, or why are you asking for them?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The payment done to Scoline was a prepayment of medical insurance cost. So the question on the previous financial year was on how the staff were covered in the previous financial year, if this is a prepayment to the upcoming year.
Now, again, to understand this, so you've got Scoline and Britam providing comprehensive medical, then you still have 23 million paid to SHA. What's the difference between the two the two covers, assuming they are for the same financial year?
Okay, for sure, we usually pay as a statutory deduction, and it was not captured as the insurance, so we had captured it as a statutory deduction. So we needed to provide the biodata for amounting to the 23 that was catered for and the contract that was needed at that particular time.
Has that been provided?
Yes, at Annex
Auditor General?
What has been provided is the byproducts for SHA, and also
How many employees are covered under SHA?
for SHA. What was let me confirm in the annexures.
Governor, how many employees are covered under SHA now that you're saying you've provided the details? Because you couldn't tell us how many are covered under Britam. This one for SHA, perhaps you might have an answer.
Because she said 3,000 are covered under Britam.
No, she requested for time to confirm. Under SHA, how many are covered?
Chair, when we get these audit queries, I want some clarification because we narrow down to what is being queried so we can respond here.
You see, Governor, Governor, just to guide you, if the requested documentation was provided,
yes,
it would have been very easy to establish how many are covered, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking.
Yes. But I'm just saying, from my own reading of this query from the auditors, and I want the auditors to listen to me, what they are querying is the 23 million from CHA, nothing else, unless I...
No, Governor, we are on SHA. We are on 23 million,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm asking how many employees are covered, because they're using terms like byproducts. So those byproducts, where is that evidence? Remember, we have come from a query where statutory deductions are not being remitted. So we just want to know, this 23 million, is it for everyone? Are they the contributions for all the staff, or there are some that were withheld sitting in the pending bills register?
It's the total contribution for all staff, and total staff are 3,400.
So this 23 is for 3,400.
Yeah, for
any schedule, any document in our possession or the Auditor General's possession to confirm that?
And maybe the question is, would the payroll by product suffice to answer the question for the 23 million? The payroll by product that the county government is saying has provided in Annex 7. Would it suffice to answer that question?
Governor? Maybe from the auditor first. Auditor, you have interacted with the records. Can you help us, because we want to move fast on this, can you help us to understand whether 23 million is what was deducted from staff for SHA and whether it was paid, and all staff of Samburu are covered under SHA and their contributions are accurate, up to date?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We've interrogated our records. I hereby submit that the insurance cost details for the Kenya shillings 23 million have not been provided for our review.
Now, you see, that's why we are now fishing or walking, in the dark. If it was provided to the auditor, these questions would have been answered. I would not be asking you how many people. I would not be asking whether the deductions are timely. I think this is the third issue that we are getting a bit concerned about the laissez-faire responses. Senator Ezeno?
Yes, Chair. I don't know. I think something is not clear about the Auditor General's statement, because in this document, I think on the same document that we have been reading, I don't know which document that is, on the medical insurance, he has indicated there, it is indicated that, however, the medical insurance contracts cover payments for the previous financial year. The details of the persons covered under the scheme, details of payments made to SHA in respect to medical cover were not provided for the audit of review. Can you specify specifically among the three which one is not provided? Is it the list from the previous or the current?
Auditor General?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We had queried two figures. The first one is 23,292,664, whereby details have not been the specific details has not been provided to us. The second figure was on the 137,771,033. The contract agreement has been provided to us. However, the listing of the staff is the one that has not been provided to us. Then thirdly, we had also asked about details of person, that is now on the details of the persons covered under the scheme. The third one is on details, the details of payments made to SHA, that is relating to the 23 million shillings. The details have not been, is the one that we are awaiting from the management. So on the issue of the previous, the cover payments for the previous financial year, is we wanted an assurance or satisfaction that staff of the county executive were covered in the previous year, because this is a prepayment, presumably for the next financial year.
So I'm asking you, Auditor.
Yes.
This payroll provided, the payroll by product, would it be adequate to answer for part of the documentation that you require to show that that money was paid, the 23 million was paid?
Chairman, we don't seem to have that.
Yes, Patrick, I think let's move very fast because at 2:30 we must go to the House.
Thank you, Chairman.
Records are either there or not.
Yes.
If they are not there, we ask them to provide them. If they are there and they are not adequate, we pronounce ourselves.
Chairman, if you look at Annex 7, except the contract extract that has been given, that period by product is what we also don't have. So we are not able to comment on that.
Governor, you must take administrative action internally because we should not waste time on this. Insurance, if you have covered your employees and there are 3,200, for example, it should be very easy to provide a listing that these are my employees under the Britam cover, these are my employees under SHA. Why would it be a matter that leads to contestation at the Senate? These are records that should be sitting with procurement. These are records that should be sitting with finance. I think we are misusing the time of the Senate, and we will not allow that. Let's go to, I think let's move on, because this matter, we will deliberate on it and give appropriate recommendations. I wanted us to quickly look at a few irregularities in human resource management. The matters we have skipped, we'll come back to them. And Governor, the human resources is a regulated profession, and the law requires the head of human resource to be a member of the Institute of Human Resource Managers. I don't know whether your head of Director of Human Resources is present. Director, fine. So, under your professional oversight, the Auditor General has raised 12 paragraphs, 12, under human resource. Non-compliance with the law on fiscal responsibility on wage bill, that I will take as a policy issue. We don't need to spend too much time. We hope that if the mediation committee agrees to 454 billion and Samburu gets probably 8 billion eventually, that these percentages will improve. So let's not spend too much time on that. What is very concerning is 1.2, Governor.
Because the division of revenue bill or the county revenue bill is not yet through, it is the people of Samburu would think that we have 8 million. I appreciate what the Senate is doing by asking 454 and the National Assembly 420. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. But it is not yet there. And if the Samburu people hear that we're going to get 8 billion, they will expect that 8 billion will come. And from my own experience in Parliament, these 420 and 454, most likely within mediation, some very little will change.
No, I think let's just have some faith, Governor. Governors were asking for 500 billion plus. Senators are pushing for 454. National Assembly is 420.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility as a Senate to tell the public what we are working towards. So don't pour cold water on it. You should also tell your people that you are asking for 500 billion, which would have given Samburu 10 billion. So allow us to gloat over the 8 billion, because it might come through this afternoon. Let's start with non-deduction and remittance of pay as you earn. Auditor General.
Yes, thank you, thank you, Chair. Non-deduction and non-remittance of pay as you earn. The review of the integrated payroll and personnel database, IPPD, for the period under review revealed that the county executive did not deduct pay as you earn of approximately Kenya shillings 2,707,946 from 47 employees, with no evidence provided to show that the county remitted the applicable taxes to the Kenya Revenue Authority. This was contrary to section 5 of the Income Tax Act, Cap 470, requiring that all income earned in Kenya to be subject to income tax. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, this should be a very direct answer.
It's very direct. The 47 employees were people living with disabilities, and they're exempted from pay as you earn. Then there are two, I think 45, then two are interdicted employees.
Governor, because your answer is very brief, just read it just read it. I think it will flow better.
Chair, the 47 staff comprised of two main staff categories, those on interdiction and those living with disabilities. With regards to those on interdiction, two staff. The system cannot capture their pay as you earn, while PWD, 45 staff, the system could not capture, but they are exempted from paying pay as you earn.
Auditor General?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The results and the documentation has now been provided by the management. During the time of audit, the information had not been provided on the 47 staff. But given the reason that these are PWDs and the staff that were on interdiction, then this one is...
So staff on interdiction are not paid a salary? They are not paid anything? I mean, just quickly explain that basis. I thought staff on interdiction are paid a percentage of their salary.
Thank you, Chair. I think as the governor read, he said that two staffs are on interdiction. That means their gross salary after earnings and also allowances cannot reach the threshold of the pay as you earn. So they are paid part of the salary. That means half salary is being paid for the basic salary and also for the house allowance. But these other like commuter allowance is not being paid, and any other allowances that are eligible for them to be paid.
Where were you when this question was raised by the Auditor General? Because you have given a very reasonable answer. Why did this matter have to come all the way to Nairobi?
Thank you, sir. Really, I believe that we provided this documentation because I remember even after...
just a minute. What's your role in the county?
Payroll manager, Samburu County.
So when you say we provided, can you say I provided? Did
I
you
provided, and even I remember...
To the Auditor General or to another officer in the organization?
I provided to the auditors who are there in offices.
Auditor General, these are small things that should not be clogging up our reports.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The issue has been outstanding because the information that was provided then was not satisfactory, and that is why it was still an outstanding issue.
Governor, this is why I'm telling you, you are not, if the day you'll get outraged, you'll solve